everybody, and it looks a lot better here tonight. Sorry, I apologize for the blemishes. I didn't have time to get my face makeup on, and my hair is sticking out a little bit, but hey, I'm on here. I'm a little bit pressed for time because I was trying to go through some of these movies that I was going to be talking about tonight, just as a little refresher. And I think I did a pretty good job. I mean, some of them I didn't remember the title, but when I started watching, I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember watching this with Steve," and it kind of started to come back to me at that point. Um, hey, old curly jaws, you say just promote the Maximum Overdrive stream in my new video. Awesome. Um, I'm really looking forward to it. Did you see the picture that I made promoting it? Oh, Curly Jaws. I don't think I did too bad a job on that. Did a little tweaking here and there with Photoshop. Um, I also put up the one for Sunday, where we'll be doing Don't Go in the House, um, which will be Texas's pick. Uh, You say I don't even know the guy's entitled. I'll have a look. Okay. I mean, you don't have to right away, old curly jaws. So I'm planning on old curly jaws being on the watch along with me for Maximum Overdrive. I mean, he can be on the next one the next night with me if he would like, which will be Don't Go in the House, as I said, which is Texas's pick. So I figure Texas will probably want to be on that watch along as well. Plus, and I'm sure old Curly Jaws wouldn't mind either. We can have up to 10 total people in here on the stream because I now am paying a little bit for StreamYard, which gives me a little more flexibility with things. So that means that we can have 9 other people besides me on the stream, and 8 if you count old Curly Jaws, which I do. So if 8 more of you want to join in on the stream, just let me know, and I will be sure to send you the link so you can get in on all of that. Let's see. Now, actually, I'm off tomorrow because I have an appointment with my therapist. So, a little more flexibility, I guess, tonight with talking about the movies. I still don't plan to go on about them for an overly long time. Tomorrow night, of course, we will have Cheese Extreme Wednesday. And everybody can look forward to that. I actually was thinking that I was doing Cheese Extreme Wednesday tonight. I was just off a day, so I pulled out the movies for that, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm not doing that. I'm doing one of the Versus shows on Tuesday. Oh, Curly Jones, you said we need a Maximum Overdrive too. Well, didn't we get that with trucks? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It might be cool to have part 2. Um, but Lord knows I don't know who would be in it though. Uh, Goodness gracious. I got a refresher on my Coke before I started, and I'm still yawning. But as usual, right before I got ready to do this stream, of course, my fever went up, which I knew it was going to do it because it always makes me feel tired, makes my eyes burn, and all that jazz. There you said, might be too late, old Curly. um, yeah, I guess maybe it might be at this point in time. So we got Cheese Extreme Wednesday coming up tomorrow night at 8 Eastern time. I think I just got a message on Facebook. Hold on just a second, guys. I don't know. I got a photo sent to me of me and Steve, supposedly from Steve's mom. But I don't know. The last time she was sending me stuff, it was a hiker. So I don't know why she would be sending me that picture, that Christmas picture of me and Steve from, um, I guess, the year before we were married. But oh, Curly Jaws, you say we just got to get some Stephen King on some gummies and write it as soon as possible. Yes, Dirk. Unfortunately, they are. Hackers are freaking everywhere. I just thought it odd that a picture got sent to me supposedly by my mother-in-law, and that just doesn't. She doesn't usually do things. She'll like that. She will mark things that she likes them, and she might wait a while before she does it. The picture might be on Facebook for a year, and then she discovers it and then marks that she likes it. I think my mom does the same thing too. But yeah. Hey, 71. You're in here and Texas isn't in here. He may be busy tonight or may not be interested in talking about what we're going to talk about tonight. Or he may be in here a little bit later. Um, but we did have close to 10. Now we got 6. So people might be going back and forth. But I'm going to go ahead and try to get into the meat of this stream, which is another, like I said, it's another versus show. And somebody gave me the suggestion. Hey, Jason, how are you doing? I hope I got the name right. It's like my brain is just, it's just mush anymore. It's just crazy. Try to keep everybody's name straight with their screen names and stuff like that. Um, somebody, and now unfortunately I can't remember who, but somebody gave me the idea for a new versus show called Mattei versus Fragasso. And that's Bruno Mattei and Claudio Fragasso. So, guys, look out because we're going to be talking about some wild movies tonight. Some of them I'm going to kind of enjoy, and some of them, upon giving myself a refresher, I realize why I didn't remember some things about it just because they were so bad. Jason, you say, "Yep, that's me doing fine. I hope you get to feeling better." Thank you, Jason. I don't know if you were in here when I was talking about the crazy times I'm having with the HR department at my work who don't want to allow me to work from home, and they requested I get more paperwork from my primary care physician. And I did not expect this from my primary care physician, but she basically said this long COVID's going to be with me for the rest of my life. And so I guess that's just something I'm going to have to deal with. The intermittent fevers, the exhaustion, the headaches, the body aches, this, that, and the other. So I'm getting by. Thankfully, I'm not on my deathbed yet. Um, Durgy say, with that name, I picture a chupacabra eating tacos. Oh, man. So I don't know how familiar everybody is with Bruno Mattei and Claudio Fragasso, but hopefully when this series is over with, you'll know more about both of these guys than you ever thought you would in your entire life. And that could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. Okay. So, I will preface this by saying that Bruno Mattei is pretty much known for making bad kind of rip off type of movies. And So, and two, when I was deciding, what went in the Bruno Mattei stack and what was going to be on the Claudio Fragasso stack, it was kind of hard because these two guys have worked on several of the same films together. So there you go. Um, 71, you say you never heard of them. Well, that's okay. You'll probably hear more in this stream than you ever wanted to know about these guys. Hey, Texas, Boyardee versus Progresso. Yeah, which would you pick, Texas? I'm curious. Um, so you guys keep chatting in there. We've got about 7 people in here right now. I'm going to go ahead and get started with the first 2 films in this series, which the Mattei film. Boy, I had forgotten how thick some of these old DVD cases were till I went and picked this up. But the Bruno Mattei offering is Hell of the Living Dead. And you can see this is a DVD. This is Steve's DVD. I believe I have a DVD, but yet again, I was too lazy to go way back there to the other room and get my DVD. So I just asked Steve if I could pull some of his off the shelf. I think the only one of mine that we're going to be talking about tonight is Troll 2. So you say Boyardee? Cool. And I'm sorry for not having a visual for all of these, but I do have a visual for the first Fragasso. I can't even talk. Fragasso. I keep wanting to put an R in there. Is Monster Dog, which I can already tell you which one's going to be my favorite of these two. Okay. So, and I'll just go ahead and tell you which is my favorite of Hell of the Living Dead and Monster Dog. It's going to be Monster Dog. And I'm going to talk about it here in just one second. But I want to start off by talking about Hell of the Living Dead. Monster Dog looks wicked 71. I like those, the little rats, dirt. Tasty said nobody cares whose DVD it is. Just kidding, Dana. Well, they might not, Texas. I just, I tend to like if they are Steve's, I'll say, hey, they're Steve's, Not that I would be ashamed to say that I had these in my collection, because I do have this one in my collection for sure. Jason, you say, for some reason I get the craving to watch Hell of the Living Dead every so often. Don't know why, though. It's bad. Well, and I'll talk about this a little bit. I think sometimes we just want to watch bad films because they're not so bad that they're unwatchable, but they're just bad enough to make them really entertaining. 71, you say, I got to watch that tonight. Jason, you say it's better than Zombie 5 Killing Birds. 71, you say, I never saw Killing Birds. You probably don't need to, 71. 71, you say, I need a bad one so I have a decent night terror. Gotcha. So, a little bit about a plot, if you can call it a plot for this movie. The infamous zombie splatter classic, uncut and uncensored for the first time ever. This is an Anchor Bay release. An accident at a chemical plant unleashes a horrific virus. Real original, right, guys? And an elite SWAT team is sent to New Guyana to investigate. But when they arrive on the hellish island, they discover a plague of flesh-eating zombies, as well as a beautiful female reporter who practices nude anthropology. I didn't even know that was a thing. Can the commandos survive this cannibal rampage, uncover a shocking government secret, and still find time for occasional cross dressing before the ravenous hordes of the living dead infect the entire world? Directed by the notorious Bruno Mattei, Rat's Night of Terror, Emmanuel in Prison, and SS Extermination Love Camp. This 80s Italian gut muncher is infamous for its eye popping gore, jaw dropping dialogue, and heart stopping use of inappropriate stock footage. Also known as Virus, Night of the Zombies, and even Zombie Creeping Flesh, Hell of the Living Dead has been transferred from original negative materials and is now presented completely uncut and uncensored for the first time ever. Guys, it don't look good. It does not. Um, it might look slightly better than the version I watched, which I was watching it really quickly, and just brought it up on YouTube. With the first version that I brought up on YouTube, though, the sound dropped out of it and never came back. So I switched it to a different version that had the audio all the way through. Durkee say, I got that Evil Dead 4K in, Dana. I bet it's going to be eye popping. LOL. I'm sorry. That's all I can say, Dirk. 71 say, LOL. Oh my God. It would be funny. But Hell of Living Dead is basically your run of the mill like zombie film. And I think it rips off a lot of things from Dawn of the Dead. And if you don't believe me, watch this sucker. But it's not a good film by any stretch of the imagination. Some people might tell me, well, Dawn of the Dead's not a good film either, Dana. But there's a huge difference in my eyes between George Romero movies and Bruno Mattei zombie movies. You can probably imagine where I'm going with that. And for somebody that has never seen a Bruno Mattei film, you might be like, well, what is he, like Ed Wood or something? I don't think he's quite that bad, but his films, they just ain't good, guys. They are just not good. But this, fortunately, is one of the better ones. The next one I'm going to talk about in the Mattei pile is, in my opinion, horrible. Oh yeah, Jason, I think I know what you're talking about. You say if you want to get it, Blue Underground has a pretty good double feature Blu-ray that comes with Rats also. Yeah, I do believe I know which one you're talking about. And Texas, you say, I think I got that one, Chalupa. TJ, you say it has totally different music. Turkey said, laughing my ass off. That's hilarious. Texas Mattei versus Mattel. It's kind of scary too. So I guess a halfway, and that's being nice about it, a halfway competent zombie film with plenty of gore. And I'll tell you, Rat's Night of Terror is not the only Mattei movie that has rats. Pretty much, it seems like all of his movies that I watch have rats in them at some point in time. This one features a rat that gets underneath this. He's got one of those kind of like a hazmat suit or something like that to keep a virus from getting in there, kind of like they wore on The Stand and stuff. But somehow a rat gets up under the head part and basically eats the guy alive. And I think that, if I'm remembering right, that might be part of where the zombie stuff originates from. But it's also a chemical plant. It does unleash the virus. So, and another thing, I don't understand why this movie's got to be so damn long. At 103 minutes, I think that's way, way too long for this type of movie. But so that's Hell of the Living Dead. I mean, in a nutshell, I think I basically told you what it was about. Now let's get to my pick for the better of the two movies, Monster Dog with Alice Cooper in it. This set has Alice Cooper in it, guys. So, rock legend Alice Cooper stars in one of the wildest horror films of the 1980s. When singer Vince Raven returns to his hometown to shoot a music video, he and his crew are confronted by a terrifying local legend. Packs of wild, thirsty dogs seem to be on the loose, attacking the population. But in fact, there's something even more monstrous than supernatural at work. A clawed demonic beast straight from the depths of hell, featuring two Alice Cooper songs, Identity Crisis and See Me in the Mirror. This outrageous slice of Euro horror from Claudio Fragasso, director of the beloved Troll 2, which we're also going to talk about tonight, will make you think twice next time you take your dog out for a walk. So, this is from 1985. Yes, it is on Blu-ray. Steve, I don't know when he bought this, but I don't think he's had it very long. It has the tagline, the fear, the terror, the nightmare they will never forget. But guys, this is, well, and I believe Kino Lorber put this out, didn't they? Kino Lorber put this out, guys, in case you want to take a look and see if they've got any more copies. I actually remember watching Monster Dog a long time ago. And then I believe when Steve got it in, we watched it again. So um, I just remember it being a really fun movie. And then you've got the added fun of having Alice Cooper in there. I don't know how many Alice Cooper fans we have in here. But Alice Cooper was always one of those guys that he was horror rock, shock rock, whatever you want to call it. But I always thought the things that he did were really fun and entertaining. And I'll tell you the point in time when I really took notice of Alice Cooper was when Friday the 13th Part 6 came out. And there were all those Alice Cooper songs in there, including He's Back, The Man Behind the Mask, which was basically all about Jason Voorhees. I just found that to be so much fun, and Alice Cooper always seemed like he was having a good time when he would do these music videos and stuff for these things. And so I also like Alice Cooper in Prince of Darkness. I think that was probably his creepiest role he ever had, was that role in Prince of Darkness. 71, you said that Monster Dog looks good. Yeah, I would highly recommend it. And like I say, it is definitely, in my opinion, the better of these two movies. Oh, Curly Jaws, you say the cover for it looks dope. Yeah, I like the cover too. I love the way it looks like there's Alice Cooper in the middle, the Monster Dog, and then one of the other actors there on the other side. And I like these. It almost seems like one big long Alice Cooper music video too, guys. Um, 71, you say Alice Cooper is awesome in horror films. Agreed, 71, agreed. Dirk, you said, welcome to my nightmare. I hope I didn't scare you. School's out. TJ said Cooper is very Christian, but he doesn't hold it over pill. Yeah, I mean, and I've seen interviews with Alice Cooper where he talks about being a family man and all that stuff. And it's great that he can like separate this stuff. He does one thing on the stage and he lives his life a totally different way. He doesn't feel like he has to, because he's doing all this blood and guts type of stuff on the stage, that he has to live that kind of life. And I think that's great that he can, separate the two. 71, you say, I love Prince of Darkness. Yeah, and Prince of Darkness will definitely be one that I'm covering soon on the Fall Fright series that I'm doing, because that's one that Steve and I both like to watch close to Halloween and during the fall season. You're right, Texas. You say at TJ, he plays golf. TJ said mini golf. LOL, that's my favorite. I love mini golf too, TJ. And actually, when I hadn't been in Louisville very long, me and Steve went to a mini golf place just up the road from our neighborhood, and we haven't been back since. I loved it. I don't know if Steve loved it as well as I did, though. Jason, you say, I like Cooper. He is obviously a fellow horror fan. We'll have to check out Monster Dog. 71, you say, I'd love to see Alice Cooper playing golf with all the makeup on. Oh, yeah, I bet a Monster Dog poster would be awesome, old Curly Jaws. Texas, you say, I don't think it's mini golf, but pro-type golf. 71, you say, can you imagine Alice Cooper as your dad? No, actually, I couldn't, because all I can imagine is my dad, and he's the furthest from Alice Cooper. I mean, and looks and entertainment and all that. Yes, he was, TJ. He was Freddie's dad. Darky say he is the original shock rocker before Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson. Yeah, and he's probably my favorite too, Dirk. And I never much, no offense to anybody that likes Marilyn Manson, but I never much cared for Marilyn Manson at all. I would, if there was no Alice Cooper and there was only like Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson, I would definitely choose Rob Zombie over Marilyn Manson. I don't know. Marilyn Manson, even with me watching a lot of the horror movies and stuff that I do, Marilyn Manson just seemed a little too weird for me. So I don't know if anybody else feels that way about him. I'm not saying I hate the man or anything like that. I'm just saying his stuff just seemed a little weirder than I like to listen to, or as far as videos to watch. Okay, so there's Hell the Living Dead and Monster Dog, which I said was my favorite of those two. All right, so moving right along. Oh boy, guys. We have the other hell. God, guys. I mean, man. I don't know. I'm going to get to it. And we also have After Death, which is Zombie 4, which unfortunately I don't have a visual for this one. Hold on just 1 second, though. Oh, sorry, guys. Oh my gosh, I wonder if Steve has seen this. There's something called Rape Zombie, List of the Dead 4. Oh my God. All right, so The Claudio Fragasso movie I'm going to talk about is After Death, or Zombie 4. So, we're going to talk about the other hell first. And guys, I'm sure that this movie was attempting to be a nunsploitation movie, but I don't even think it's good enough to pass as a nunsploitation movie. Um, I went through this one as a refresher before I did the stream, and I remembered then why I didn't remember it back when Steve and I watched it the first time. Hey, Blissful. So, I don't know really how Steve feels about this. I don't know if he just bought this just because of the whole nun thing. And you know how Steve is about nuns. Somebody from braineater.com. I've never been on that website. Um, but they said it's like a knife to the groin of mainstream cinema. Anna Christa, the Bible of nasty nun cinema and culture, said, genuinely unholy. Just watching it, you feel as though you're damned to eternal hellfire. And believe it or not, probably the best thing about this movie is it was written, or I mean, the music was done by none other than Goblin. That's probably the best thing about this movie. And what's weird is, remember when I said that Bruno Mattei and Claudio Fragasso did a lot of the same movies and worked on the same movies? Well, good old Claudio did the damn screenplay for this, and Bruno Mattei directed it. So, this one's only 88 minutes. It's not rated. It's from 1980. Um, and Carlo De Majo from Gates of Hell is in, or City of the Living Dead is in here. That's probably maybe the second thing that's good about this. So, Bruno Mattei's Nunsploitation classic, now uncut and uncensored in HD for the first time ever, if you care. At the peak of the 80s excess, Italian sleaze maestro Bruno Mattei, using the alias Stefan Oblowski, stunned audiences with this nunsploitation shocker about a series of brutal murders in a depraved convent. And it certainly is depraved. It's just one depraved scene after the other. And while his cinematic legacy may remain controversial, Mattei here delivers a surprisingly stylized yet undeniably blasphemous orgy of stabbing, stigmata, Satanism, sexual violence, and graphic savagery that ranks among his very best. Franca Stoppi, the true story of the nun of Monza, Carlo De Majo, women's prison massacre. Oh, he was also in that too. And Franco Garofalo from Hell of the Living Dead star in this filthy nugget, which is what Mondo Digital called it. Written by the notorious Claudio Fragasso, Rats, Night of Terror, and Troll 2, and featuring a score borrowed, they say borrowed from Goblin. So I'm guessing that Goblin didn't actually consent to do the music for this. They simply stole it. Which I thought some of the music sounded familiar. This is newly transferred from a 35 millimeter print, discovered behind a false wall in a Bologna nunnery. Now, I honestly, guys, I found this movie to be boring. And the movie did not move well. It really didn't have anything, in my opinion, to satisfy gorehounds, really. I mean, they talk about it being gory and splattery and all that stuff, but it's really not. You have a few stabbings. It seems like a nun's throwing up blood. You have the nuns supposedly removing the genitals because they're evil from a naked girl. Um, Basically, a nun having sex with the devil and having a daughter and then trying to kill that daughter. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just, in my opinion, not a very good film and not really an entertaining film. Not a so bad it's good type of film. It's just bad. And I don't know how much Steve paid for it. I mean, this is the Severin Blu-ray. Um, yeah, and I don't know. What else can I say about it? I don't know. I can't say much other than I didn't like it. Um, let's see. Yes, nun zombies, but not really. Not in this one. Bliss, will you say his sex has been behaving? Ah, so far he's been good. Yes, City of the Living Dead, which is an awesome movie, by the way. Bliss, will you say I love the idea of nun zombies? Yeah, I kind of do too, but unfortunately, this movie didn't really have those in there. 71, you say I took an extra malaria antibiotic today. I'm surprised I'm not transforming into one by now. Ew. You said some of it has a good theme. You said the devil and nun part sounds fun. Well, I'm not going to tell anybody not to try the movie out, but I wouldn't pay money until I was sure that it would be something that I would be watching for some time to come. You say this looks awesome, Dirk. I'm warning you, Dirk. I'm warning you. Uh, God. Yeah, I would say watch it on YouTube first, even though the print is not real good. But before you shell out your hard earned money and buy it, I would say watch it on YouTube just so you can get that whole experience. Yeah, there you go, 71. You can stream it for free. And so again, I'm probably gonna have to say that After Death, aka Zombie 4, from 1989 is gonna be the better of the two films for me. Not that it's really a great film per se, but it has more things to keep my attention. It's not a nunsploitation movie. So here's basically what it's about. A woman goes back to the island where her parents were killed. They had been working on a cure for cancer and accidentally raised the dead by angering a voodoo priest. With the woman is a group of mercenaries and they meet up with some other researchers. They raise the dead again and all hell breaks loose. And I just think this is more of a more interesting movie than the other hell. It's got a lot more gore in it. Um, it definitely has zombies in it. And I don't know, it just seems to be like a more balls to the wall, kind of more kick ass type of film. A lot of action. I don't know, just in my opinion, although neither one of these films can be called great pieces of cinema, I just find this one more entertaining, a lot easier to watch. Um, Everything is just better about it, in my opinion. But, some people didn't like it. I see the first review on IMDb. It says Zombie 4 watching it is like death. They called it a snooze fest. So I don't know. I definitely found it a lot more entertaining than the other hell. I mean, if we're gonna compare these two films and be fair, or if I'm gonna be fair about it, I have to say that After Death, Zombie 4 is the better of the two films. There's no other way around it. TJ said, "Oh yeah, that's the one with the porn dude, Ron Jeremy." You say Zombie 3 is fun as hell, um, but not Zombie 4, Dirk. So, I mean, you could probably still get the other hell from Severin if you wanted it, but just a little warning. It's really it wasn't even what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be one of those pure nunsploitation movies. And at least After Death, Zombie 4 has some zombies in it. So you get some zombie action and stuff. And you don't really have these long scenes where nothing happens like the other hell. So Fragasso gets it again with this one, like Mattei's pretty much striking out. At least for this stream anyway. Dirk, you say haven't seen for. Well, I highly recommend it, Dirk. I would say if you're going to watch The Other Hell, watch Zombie 4 before you do that. Okay. So, the third one, like I said, and I'm being totally serious about this. This usually doesn't happen. It didn't happen with the Argento versus Fulci stuff, really. But I'm thinking I'm probably gonna like all the Fragasso films better than I am the Bruno Mattei films. Okay, for you guys here, we've got violence in a women's prison, and you got rats right on the damn cover there. I told you Bruno Mattei had a thing about rats in his movies. And the Fragasso movie is Beyond Darkness. Okay. Which I remembered upon going through it again. I remembered watching it with Steve. And it's going to be my pick for the favorite of the two. I'm just going to tell you right off with that. Um, but I mean, there is another film called Beyond the Darkness, but that is a totally different film than Beyond Darkness that we're actually talking about. Um, so let's talk about violence in a women's prison. You have Laura Gimser and Lorraine DeSalle, both in this movie. Lorraine DeSalle plays like a warden in this women's prison. Um, well, heck, I'll just give you the plot synopsis from the back of the Severin Blu-ray. Bruno Mattei's infamous Filth Fest uncut in HD for the first time ever. In an over-the-top career filled with cannibals, zombies, nuns, and Nazis, only Eurosleeves maestro Bruno Mattei, the other hell and shocking dark, along with frequent collaborators, co-writers Claudio Fragasso and Rosella Drudy, Troll 2, Zombie 3, and 4, could take the Black Emmanuel series to such insane depths of depravity. When Emmanuel, the legendary Laura Gimser, depends on who you ask. If you ask me, I'd be like, legendary what? Um, Goes undercover in a penitentiary, she will endure a nightmare of sadistic guards, voracious lesbians, rat attacks, feces fights, and enough graphic mayhem for a dozen women in prison trash epics. Gabrielle Tinti, Emmanuel and the Last Cannibals, Lorraine DeSalle from Cannibal Ferox, and Franca Stoppi, Beyond the Darkness, co-star in this classic of exploitation, also known as Caged Women and Emmanuel in Prison. Now, see, I tell you, it's a thinly veiled Emmanuel movie. Now featuring a 2K scam from an uncensored Interpositive. Monster Hunter said one of the all-time scuzziest women in prison movies ever. The spinning image said a women in prison sleaze-a-thon. Yeah, so it is sleazy. It is exploitation. It is women in prison movie. There's plenty of nudity. There's plenty of lesbian girl on girl action. And there's Laura Gimser, and there's some rats who who viciously attack Laura Gimser in one scene. That was probably my favorite scene. Um, guys, I've said before that I am not a prude by any stretch of the imagination, but as soon as I started going through this film again and refreshing myself on it, I'm like, oh God, it's got Laura Gimser on it. It's just a thinly veiled Emmanuel movie. I mean, come on. And although I like Lorraine DeSalle, I would rather watch her in something like Cannibal Ferox, where I think that was a lot better character. Even House on the Edge of the Park has a better character than this warden that she plays in this women's prison. So I'm not a big fan of Emmanuel movies anyway. I'm not even a fan, period, of Emmanuel movies. And, I realize that a lot of guys that watch these types of movies. And there might be some lesbian ladies. There might be some straight ladies that like Emmanuel movies. I'm not just saying it's like just guys and lesbians. I mean, some women appreciate movies like this, but I am not a big Laura Gimser fan. It's not like I think she's drop dead gorgeous or anything. She's just okay. She might have a nice body, and she certainly shows it off a lot in this movie, as she does most of the movies that she's in. Um, so, but other than that, other than the eye candy and um, the scenes with the rats, maybe was probably something that I liked. I liked that better than watching girl on girl action or um, watching Laura Gimser take her clothes off all the time. Um, so yeah, not a fan. Definitely not a fan of violence in a women's prison. But, you know, to each his own. If some people like it, that's cool with me. Blissful, you say no rats, LOL. I actually have, well, I have one pet rat now, but I've had several pet rats in the past. 71, you say I've seen a few rats movies. 71, you say they'd scare the hell out of you. Texas, you say women in prison movies are great as long as Pam Grier and Erica Gavin are in them. I would rather see Pam Grier, honestly, than watch another Laura Gimser movie. Women. Blissful, you say, I can't spell what movie it was, but I made him stop it halfway through. Oh, that was probably the movie that um, Texas was talking about the other night. Texas, did I ever tell you that me and Steve met Pam Grier a few years back, and she was really nice. 71, you said Pam Grier, I recall seeing one with her in it. TJ, you say Reform School Girls is my fave prison flick. Texas, you say Reform School Girls is great. So 71, you've seen some Emmanuel movies. You say you haven't watched any Emmanuels in a while. Texas says Severn apparently is supposed to put out complete Emmanuel box set next year. Steve might get that depending on how much it'll cost. 71 says that will be pricey. And I agree with Texas. I'm pretty sure it will. You say a couple of hundred for that? Oh, yeah. Itchy the Killer. And you say, yes, you did. You must be talking about me talking about Pam Grier. Texas, you say, I love Chained Heat with Erica Gavin and Rainbow Smith. 71, you say, I saw Chained Heat. Yeah, we could probably have a whole women in prison movie stream at some point. There's enough of those that I could do a stream on it, I'm sure. Okay, so let's just suffice it to say that other than the rats chewing on Laura Gimser, I didn't much care for violence in the women's prison. But Beyond Darkness, I did like. And like I said, I remember Beyond Darkness from watching it with Steve, but for some reason I didn't remember the title until I was refreshing myself on this movie. And then I was like, oh yeah, I remember this movie. Um, this the movie Beyond Darkness was from 1990, and actually it's referred to as La Casa 5. And basically it's about a minister and his wife moving into a haunted house, and really bad things start to happen. And so I was just looking to see. Barbara Bingham was in this. I'd forgotten about that. So I was just looking at the first review for this, where the person says, at its best when you're drinking and are smoking. This movie's a little bit stupid, but that is some of its best qualities. Acting ain't great. Special effects even worse. Okay, they're better than some of the actors. Um, so David Brandon plays a priest. Um, and he evidently was in the Caligula movie. And it's also called Ghost House 6. That is another title. um, also known as House 5. And Dirk, you may be familiar with one of the filming locations or some of the filming locations, because the filming locations say Otis House, Fairview Riverside State Park, 119 Fairview Drive, Madisonville, Louisiana. So yeah, I pretty much, like I said, this has got to be my pick of the two, because you know, women in prison movies for me really got to have, and I just keep hitting my keyboard, have really got to have something additional other than all the sleaze for, or something unique, for me to enjoy them. So, and and in my opinion, violence in a women's prison does not fit that bill for me. Now, if that movie does it for you, then I say more power to you. But I would rather watch Beyond Darkness 10 times over than watch that violence in a women's prison um, again. I mean, I'm not kidding. Um, I don't know that even though Beyond Darkness was cheesy, and uh, not really good acting in it. I mean, it was just far and away a better or more fun movie anyway. Um, so let me give you a little bit more information about it. So, as I said, a minister and his family move into a new house without knowing that it was built over the place where 20 witches were burned at the stake. Now, we all know in movies when any women accused of being witches get burned at the stake, you know there's going to be a curse put on like the relatives or wherever the place is that they did this. And in this case, a house was built over a place where 20 witches were burned. So soon the terror begins with the house terrorizing its inhabitants, kind of like Amityville Horror, with the elements that lie within the construction. For example, a possessed radio and flying cleaver. The priest's young son is possessed by the demons of hell, and he enlists the aid of another more experienced priest to help him perform an exorcism on the boy, in a sequence very similar to that in The Exorcist. The spirit of a female serial killer also inhabits the house, an ugly, bald headed woman who was electrocuted by the state for murdering 10 children and ingesting their souls inside herself. The 20 executed witches also reappear in the form of black shrouded ghosts as the exorcism proceeds. So, not a really detailed plot for that. But like I said, if you compare, I don't know, there's just no comparison between violence in a women's prison and Beyond Darkness. Um, and by the way, Barbara Bingham was in Friday the 13th, Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan. So, well, she was in quite a bit of stuff. But anyway, not to go on too much on that. Um, let's see. 71, you say, I used to get wasted and watch bad movies. I think Steve used to do that too. Well, not by wasted, I'm not going to ask you. I'm not sure if you mean alcohol or drugs or both or whatever. But Steve used to drink a lot in his younger days. Um, pretty much by the time he got in his mid to late 40s is when he really started slowing down with the alcohol. I think basically from the age of like 19 into his 30s, he drank heavily. Um, and then, things sort of changed, but he used to, would get a bunch of movies and drink on the weekends and just, pretty much drink and watch movies till he passed out. And so I'm sure he watched a lot of bad movies in there. TJ, you said the Ilsa movies are nuts. If you've ever seen those prison flicks, I think I've seen maybe a couple of them. TJ, Doug, you say, have you seen Wentworth, Dana, the Australian show about a women's prison? It's my wife's favorite. I haven't seen that. Would you recommend it, Dirk? Beyond the Darkness, actually, I had that Blu-ray. I like it. Actually, I think Beyond the Darkness is better than Beyond Darkness. Texas, you say, I want to get those Ilsa movies. I recently picked up Beast and Heat, and it's got this great Nazi exploitation documentary, and Diane Thorne is a trip. May she rest in peace. I was thinking Steve got that Beast and Heat. Mood stabilizers. Well, in this day and age, it seems like everybody has to be on mood stabilizers. TJ, you say, yeah, Texas. Diane Thorne does commentaries on the movies, and she seemed pretty cool. Blissful, you say, at 71, it's all in the balance. Darky say, yeah, I didn't mind it. I bought her the whole collection, 8 seasons. Well, aren't you a sweet husband, Dirk? 71, you say, what balancers, either low or high, laughing my ass off. Okay, so moving right along, guys, to the next Mattei movie, which is Rats Night of Terror. So we've got Rat's Night of Terror, which I don't have a visual for, and Night Killer, which I also don't have a visual for, unfortunately. Hold on, guys. And I was thinking that me and Steven watched Night Killer not very long ago. Or maybe I just imagined we did. Oh, yeah. This seems really. Now, this one was actually directed by both Claudio Fragasso and Bruno Mattei, but Bruno Mattei was uncredited. This is Night Killer. Let me just, since I've got Night Killer up here on IMDb, what it's about is a serial killer with a rubber like Freddy Krueger mask terrifies the city of Virginia Beach. And yeah, literally, that's what it is. So I'm going to say again that between Rat's Night of Terror and Night Killer, I'm going to go with the Fragasso movie of Night Killer. Just to be honest with you, it seems to be more my cup of tea. While Rat's Night of Terror seems to be a little bit goofy. And by goofy, I mean there's some really, like, not very good, but off the wall stuff. Night Killer seems to be a lot more fun, um, in my opinion. And I mean, all Rat's Night of Terror has going for it is that ending scene, which is kind of sort of interesting. I won't give it away in case there are some of you that have not seen Rat's Night of Terror and would be considering watching it. But everything, in my opinion, about Night Killer is just so much better. So let me bring up Rat's Night of Terror here. The Rat's Night of Terror was from 1984. It is unrated. And I could just tell by looking at it that it was a post-apocalyptic Earth where most of humanity lives underground. A group of surface people stumble upon an abandoned lab uh, that was trying to bring life back into the Earth's surface, but the place is run over by vicious rats. Again, this movie was directed by both Bruno Mattei and Claudio Fragasso, who Claudio Fragasso this time was uncredited. So, and guess who is in this? Playing Kurt, Ottaviano del Aqua, the main like zombie from Fulci Zombie. Also, Greta from Demons is on this as well. So, and you got some familiar faces in it. But again, I have to say that Night Killer gets my pick for the favorite of the two films. And Claudio Fragasso is actually in Night Killer. He plays a reporter with a baseball cap. And Bruno Mattei plays a reporter with a yellow scarf. So if you want to see both of those guys in a movie, then Night Killer would be one to try to search out. And here's another thing that they insinuated that Freddy Krueger was a pedophile and a child murderer. But this guy kills many women after raping them. One of their victims is a beautiful Tara Buckham in the role of Melanie Beck. The woman no longer remembers the violence she suffered in the past, but the memory will return when the serial killer shows up to continue to torment her physically and not only carnally. So this is interesting. Fragasso envisioned the film as a tense psychological thriller with little or no gore. I don't think he quite made it. The original cut of the film resembled his vision. However, the producers were not happy. So again, it's a producer's thing. They weren't happy with the cut that Fragasso turned in, feeling that it lacked balance. And so Bruno Mattei was tasked with shooting additional scenes to add more gore into the film. Although it's set in Florida, the location used is clearly Virginia. Um, I don't know. It didn't seem to get very good reviews, but again, guys, I am going to say that in my eyes, it has Rats Night of Terror. It blows that one out of the water. With the exception of a kind of, I guess they were not going for it to be kind of hokey, but it kind of turned out to be. And again, I don't want to give it away because there might be some of you that want to see the movie for yourself. And also, I didn't think rats in general turned up very often in the movie. And for a movie called Rats Night of Terror, That's kind of odd. Texas, you say, I told Steve about the documentary. It was on Tubi. Gotcha. Yes, Jason, the ending of Rats is the best part. Yeah. If it has a best part, that ending is. It makes you wish the whole movie was like that. I won't spoil it though. Texas, you say Severin just put out a bundle of Mattei action flicks. I'm kind of whatever, lol. Darky says Severin's been shitting where they eat here lately. 71, you say, I just saw the trailer for the Rats movie. You say, I'm up for that one. Well, I guess it ain't too awful, Dirk. You're right. But again, um, I would have to pick Night Killer as my favorite of the two, though. TJ, you say, I haven't seen either movie, but I know the twist in Rat's Night of Terror. Oh, yeah, if we want to talk about great rat movies, Ben or Willard, yes, definitely. 71, you say, well, I'd rather dream of rats than people. Yeah, that's the truth. Okay, guys, so moving right along to the final two movies in this series, we have Mattei's Shocking Dark and Fragasso's Troll 2, buddy. Troll 2. And you guys that listen to Dead Pit, you've more than likely heard Troll 2 mentioned. Okay. So again, right off the bat, I'm going to have to tell you that Troll 2 is my favorite of the two films. But let's start with Shocking Dark. Bloody Disgusting, of course, said, wow, you've got to see this movie. The most infamous mashup in Ural Sleaze history, now in HD for the first time ever. For director Bruno Mattei, Violence in a Women's Prison, and co-writers Claudio Fragasso and Rosella Drudy, Troll 2, their final and most notorious collaboration went beyond brazen plagiarism to become a fearless act of deranged genius. And this Barava ripoff of both Aliens and Terminator, yes, you heard that right. A team of badass Marines, a tough female civilian, and an orphan girl battle monsters beneath the Venice canals while being chased by an indestructible killer cyborg. Have we mentioned the overwrought dialogue, over the top performances, and ultimate WTF twist ending? Greta from Demons and Tony Lombardo, Rats Nights of Terror, star in this schlockfest of awesome. Cool Target said that, by the way. Actually released outside the US as Terminator 2 and Alienators, and never before available in America. Now scanned in 2K from the director's cut negative discovered in a Rome lab vault. Grindhouse Review also gave it 5 stars, sheer insanity and necessary viewing. And Bruno Mattei went by the pseudonym of Vincent Dawn on this particular one. '71, you say, I never saw that Troll series. Well, Troll 2 is the one to watch, in my opinion. Texas, you say, fucking Troll 2. Do you not like Troll 2, Texas? It's got to be better than Spookies. It is, in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of Spookies. TJ, you say, Deadly Eyes is a cheesy rat movie. No pun intended, but it does have Leslie Dawson, so I'm always up to see her in a flick. And it has dachshunds in rat suits. That's awesome. And you can actually see that they're dachshunds several times. 71, you say, I only saw like 5 minutes of one of the troll movies and they were around a fire pit with a pentagram. Dougie said, this ain't even close. It's like Tyson versus an amateur boxer in his first fight. Oh, man. Oh, wait a second here. Jason, you said the first troll film is the original Harry Potter movie. Durkee said the first troll was a childhood favorite. Bliss, what you want to know? Is it worse than hobgoblins? No, I think it's probably, in my opinion, better than hobgoblins. TJ, you said Troll 2 is trollable, LOL, but I still watch it. Red, Dana, you said, do you ever watch King of Horrors or Newcastle After Dark on YouTube? I I don't recall if I've seen those. I don't think I have. Texas, you say fucking Tro 2 sounds better than just saying Tro 2. I got you. Jason, you say my favorite part of Troll 2 is a strange attempt at erotic corn on the cob eating. Yeah, that's the best. That and when the kid pisses all over the table trying to ruin the corn and his dad gets on him and says, you can't piss on hospitality. I mean, it's got some great lines in it. So let's talk about we talked a little bit about Shocking Dark. Let's talk about the epic Troll 2, shall we? Those greedy goblins are back and hungrier than ever in this gourmet gross out. Disguised as friendly country folk, a pugnacious posse of people eating trolls lures visitors into their town. But a family of four is about to discover that this place is a real tourist trap, and they're the prey. Now the no good gnomes must be destroyed before the family gets flambéed and the world becomes a buffet in a feeding frenzy of fear. Why do a lot of these the plot synopsis on the back of some of these Blu-rays sound like you're reading a freaking tongue twister? I mean, have you guys noticed that with some of these? TJ, you say Troll 1 was a fun movie. I remember as a kid. Great soundtrack. They didn't copyright the name Harry Potter, so they can't use it in a sequel because of you know who. Texas, you say Newcastle After Dark. That's a great channel. I'll have to check that out. Oh, cool, Red. You say Trilogy of Terror is coming on Me TV Svengoolie. Ooh, yeah. I'll have to have Steve remind me because he usually watches Svengoolie. Blissful, you say Mystery Science Theater butchered hobgoblins. Yep, can't piss on hospitality. That's right, 71. Yeah, I almost forgot about the Kino sale too. 71, you said they're trying to make the movies classy. So, again, guys, even though, you know, it seems that Shocking Dark got a lot of praise and, you know, you get a lot of action, a lot of cheese, a lot of rip-off scenes of Aliens and Terminator. I mean, I still have to go with the Fragasso offering of Troll 2. I just have to. I mean, look at that cover, guys. Okay. So we, or I, or however you want to put it, have reached the end of the first week of Mattei versus Fragasso. I hope to return next Tuesday with another Mattei versus Fragasso with a whole new set of movies. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope you're still enjoying these versus shows. I really like doing them. Um, and if you have any suggestions for any future versus shows I could do, uh, be sure to send them my way. And I will take any and all requests into consideration. Um, TJ, you say, yeah, Texas. Newcastle drinks beer and shows movies on YouTube. Can't lose there. 71, you say, I always do enjoy your lives. Brings me back in time. Well, that's nice, 71. I'm glad that this is somewhere that people can come and feel comfortable and enjoy themselves, and we can just kick back and talk about movies. And like I always say, just kind of throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. Um, Texas, you say those guys are great. I'm gonna have to ask Steve if he watches any of those guys. Dirk, you say Hooper versus Barker. Well, you know what, Dirk, your wish is my command, sir. I am going to write that down right now in my notebook. Plus, I want to ask if anybody has any ideas for future watch-alongs. I'll write that down. But I am going to write this Hooper versus Barker because I think that will be a really good one, Dirk. Well, thank you, Bliss. Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. You said that's going to be tough. Barker and Hooper, oh my God. Yeah, but those are the fun ones. Those are the fun ones. TJ, you say, how about Tales from the Dark Side versus Tales from the Crypt TV shows? Okay. I think that's a good one too, TJ. I'm writing that one down. You're coming up with some good ones. And see, I like you guys to feel like you're a part of these streams, even if you're not always on these streams with me. Giving me suggestions means too that I'm hopefully showing content that people will be interested in. Jason, you say it's cool that Fragasso includes his girlfriend so heavily in the writing of the scripts, and no matter how weird her ideas are, he goes with it. It's strangely touching. 71, you say, I have to go with Tales from the Dark Side. Yeah, that's going to be hard for me because I was a huge fan of Tales from the Dark Side, but I was also a huge fan of Tales from the Crypt. Yes, Dirk, that was a good call, I think. Bliss, what you say at 71, I love seeing you excited and enjoying. I mean, that makes me happy too that, any and all of you guys that seem like you're enjoying yourself. If this can brighten your night a little bit or your day, that's something that I brought up before. If you're having a bad day, if you've had a shitty day at work or had a fight with a friend, had a fight with a spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, sometimes just getting together with people you consider friends, and I consider all you guys that come in here, especially you ones that come on a regular basis, I consider you friends. And I just think it's a form of relaxation. Steve actually laughed. He said, you're not doing a stream tonight?" And I said, "Sure, I'm doing a stream." I said, "I'm doing the Mattei versus Fragasso stream." And he just, oh. Parmesan versus Romano. That would be interesting because I'm a cheese person. 71, you say, at Blissful, Texas. For many reasons, the other community is pissing me off something that happened today. TJ, you say, I tried, Dirk. Thanks. Well, heck, 71, I love you too. You might not be talking directly to me, but I love you and Blissful. You guys have been welcome additions to the chat. Dirk, you say, always good hanging out and talking about what we love and talking shit about what we don't. Exactly, Dirk, exactly. Um, 71, you say, you guys are all cool in here, and you guys have all been cool in the chat. Um, Jason, you say, yep, nice to hang out in a chill chat when I can. Thanks, everybody. Well, thank you, Jason. You know, you have an open invitation to come by, and everybody that's in here or has been in any of these chats, you have an open invitation to come on the stream anytime with me. You don't have to be on camera. You don't have to listen to Wes. Nobody is. I'm certainly not requiring you to be on camera. If you would like to come on and be audio only, that is awesome with me. 71, you say, I own a ton of old horror, hard to find movies. That's cool. I'd love to, hear about those on the stream sometime. Turkey say, yeah, this is like the Cheers song here. It certainly is. Uh, Blissful, you say, it's always fun to hang out with the cool kids. Yes, ma'am. It sure is. Well, Wes, you came in here kind of late, but what? Let's see, Claudio versus Bruno in the match of the century. They should all listen to me, by the way. TJ, you say, not sure of my schedule yet, but might be able to stream live for Don't Go in the House. Cool, TJ. I hope you can. Like I said, we've got room enough for 9 people plus me. So if anybody wants to, join for Don't Go in the House, which is Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to be starting a little bit earlier for that one. Saturday night, I was going to start at 7, but because it was Curly Jaws's pick and he doesn't get off from his job till 7, I had pushed it to 7:30. So the Saturday watch along for Maximum Overdrive will be at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Wes, I told them they didn't have to listen to you. You said, don't be a pussy. Get on camera, boss. Blissful, you say, I got my notification late. I was so upset, but I'm glad I caught the last live. Yeah, I hate that the notification got to you late, Blissful. Yeah, Texas doesn't have a camera, Wes. So he couldn't even be on camera if he wanted to be. Oh, he's probably got a smartphone. But like I said, I don't, if somebody wants to be on camera, that is cool. If they don't want to be on camera, that's cool as well. Nothing says we can't just have audio with some people. That's a good point, Texas. You say, I'm not draining my battery, LOL. Yeah, see what happens to old Curly Jaws every time he's on here and I'm not saying anything bad about old Curly Jaws, but invariably his phone ends up dying every time he tries to do one of these streams. Jason, you say, I don't have a camera. My mic makes me sound like a robot. Well, that might be a cool effect, Jason. Well, she say Dana streams every night. You shouldn't need a reminder of Blissful. Gaw. Well, I almost didn't think I was going to be able to stream tonight. almost said scream. Um, because you know how and I hate to talk about my health over and over, but it's really starting to, at times impede what I'm able to do, what I'm not able to do, and all that. And so I really got to feeling really bad. Thankfully, I was able to sit down in the living room and watch, give myself a refresher on some of these films. I started feeling a little bit better and able to do this stream, but I really thought at first that I was going to have to reschedule it. Red, you say, is Maximum Overdrive the movie where the vehicles drive to kill everyone in the ghost town diner? Yeah, pretty much, Red. Well, she said, I said you can't just have audio. Well, yeah, you can. Well, she said, plug the power up while you stream. You saying no thanks to Maximum Overdrive, Red? So you're not going to come by for that watch along? We have a lot of fun at these watch alongs, and a lot of times we don't just talk about the movie. 71, you say, at Red, I've seen Maximum Overdrive way too many times. Me too, 71. Well, she said, this Monsters movie is a new level dog shit. My lord. 71, you say, oh, I get that. My body feels like it's a disaster zone, especially after taking an extra 100 milligrams of this crap antibiotic. Yeah. So, guys, I haven't went on that long, not like I normally do, and I'm sad to go, being as we still have 10 people in here. And I've only been on here for like the length of a regular movie at an hour and 35 minutes. But I'm probably going to have to skedaddle on out of here because I'm starting to kind of wear down a little bit. I think I'm going to take my shower and have me something for a snack and check on my animals, my doggies, and all that. But I'll read some of the rest of these chat messages. TJ, you say Munsters was too long. 80 minutes tops for that. Well, she said, yeah, at least 80 minutes would be slightly more bearable than 2 hours. I agree with you guys. I ain't even seen it in 2 hours. It's too long. Yes, 71. I'm definitely going to try to get some rest. Well, she said, drink some coffee. They'll get you energized. Would you hear me say on some of the other streams that I've started drinking iced coffee drinks now? 71, you say, I passed out earlier and was afraid of overdosing on this crap medication. Ew, that sounds scary. But on that note, guys, I hate to say on that note what 71 said and say I'm going to get out of here, but Red said, I heard Jeepers Creepers 4 is possibly the worst movie ever made. Seems so judging by the trailer. But on all of those notes, I am going to skedaddle on out of here. I want to thank everybody for stopping by tonight. It's been fun. You can look forward to Cheese Extreme Wednesday tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then who knows what I might have in between Cheese Extreme Wednesday and the 2 watch alongs that we're doing on Saturday and Sunday. So just stay tuned for that. Thank you, Sonny. When you say it's okay, go get some rest. You need it. See you next time. Blissful, you say get rest and relax. Thank you. TJ says night, kids. So anyway, guys, been a great time once again. And I will see everyone on the flip side. Y'all have a good night now.